38 years of devotion, laid off 6 weeks before retirement. Retire early with these 5 things. I'm in my Seattle attic, dust swirling in the dim light, my hands gripping an old anchor from my father's fishing boat. Its rusted weight pulls at my arms, just like the words from my boss this afternoon. John, we're downsizing. You're done today. 38 years of devotion, 6 weeks from retirement, and everything I gave, nights without sleep, missing Emma and Jack's childhood, sinks like this anchor into the dark. My chest tightens, fear flooding me, fear of losing our home, of Linda's eyes turning to pity, of a future drowning in bills. I gave a company my life and they handed me a thin folder and a hollow nod. But as I set the anchor down, its thud echoes in the quiet, and a spark ignites. I won't let them drag me under. I'm John Miller, 62, and this is Seattle, where rain and shadows can't sink my will. This is my confession, not to wallow but to show you. If you have these 5 things, retire early before a company pulls you to the depths. Will you cut the chain before it drags you down, or wait to sink like I nearly did? I used to think work was my lifeline. At 24, I started as a programmer, hunched in a stuffy office, the screen's glare stinging my eyes, fingers aching from coding past midnight. I missed nights with Linda, her favorite lasagna cooling on the table as she waited. I wasn't there when Emma, 6, scraped her knee learning to bike, or when Jack, 8, scored his first soccer goal, because I believed, work harder and the future's safe. In 2010, a promotion brought a bigger paycheck, but it etched new worry lines on Linda's face. In 2020, we bought a $600,000 home in Seattle's suburbs, owing $400,000, dreaming we'd grow old there, sipping coffee on the porch under gray skies. But in March 2025, that dream capsized. I trudged home after the layoff, wet boots soaking the carpet, collapsing into an armchair, the faint glow of a lamp on my hands that wrote millions of lines of code, now clutching unpaid bills. With $180,000 in savings, I stared into an abyss. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says 55 to 64-year-olds like me take 31.2 weeks to find work. 8 months without pay, 8 months fearing Linda would see me as broken. Northwestern Mutual says $1.46 million is needed for a comfortable retirement. My $180,000 was a death trap. Financial stability isn't a fat bank account. It's the calm of knowing you won't drown in debt. I saw I'd been naive, betting my life on a company pension. Linda and I sat at the kitchen table, papers scattered, slashing costs. No streaming subscriptions, sold the second SUV for $15,000, paid $2,000 per month on debt. I took freelance coding jobs, each $100 earned a rope pulling me from panic. One night, Linda met my eyes, said, "John, we'll get through." I checked our savings, up $1,000, and for the first time since the layoff, I slept without nightmares. Sincere advice. You don't need to be rich, but you need to own your money. Today, grab a notebook, list every expense and cut the extras, daily lattes takeout, and find a side hustle like selling old gear or picking up shifts. Every dollar you save is a lifeline. If your job vanishes, you'll stand steady because you've woven a safety net. Ask yourself, does your money give you peace at night? If not, what depths are you risking? Emma and Jack were the current keeping me afloat. At 28 and 30, they're on their own. Emma's an engineer, thriving in her cozy apartment. Jack runs a startup, calling me about tax forms, not handouts. When the layoff struck, I didn't need to carve up my savings for them. Pew Research says 41% of 18 to 34-year-olds rely on parents, anchoring you to a job you hate. Grown children are the key to untying your finances, turning savings into a buoy, not a bandage for their needs. I remember an evening when Emma stopped by, handing me homemade brownies, saying, "Dad, I'm good, just stay strong." Her words were a lighthouse in the fog. I took $10,000 from savings, bought bonds, generating $500 per month passively, like a tide lifting me higher. If Emma and Jack still needed my wallet, I'd be tethered to work, no chance to retire. I realized I'd been too soft, handing them cash without teaching them to swim. From their teens, I talked money, budgeting, failing, trying again. When Jack was 18, I refused to buy him a car, saying, "Earn it yourself." He fumed, but now he's grateful. Sincere advice. Your kids are your heart, but they can't be your anchor. This week, sit them down over coffee, ask, what's your plan to stand on your own? Help them, point to jobs, teach budgeting, but set clear boundaries. If you're still paying their phone bill or rent, you're tying yourself to a desk. Freedom comes when your kids sail their own course. Picture this. If your kids needed cash tomorrow, could you retire? If not, what steps will you take to cut the rope? Our home was the hull holding me together. Now worth $794,000, Zillow 2025, with $200,000 in equity, it's a beacon in the storm. The Census Bureau says 25% of 55 to 64-year-olds don't own a home, drifting without an anchor. Owning a home isn't just a roof, it's leverage, a lifeline when the world sinks. Stay, sell, or borrow. After the layoff, I sat on the deck, rain drumming above, Linda's hand warm in mine, whispering, "John, we have this." Her voice steadied me. We attacked our debt, cutting it from $400,000 to $300,000, borrowed $50,000 against equity to invest, like casting nets for the future. Without a home, I'd be renting at $2,500 per month, savings gone in 5 years, shoving us into a bare apartment, no trace of our life. I think of weekends staining the deck with Linda, laughing through sore arms because it was ours. I learned to guard it. Aggressive debt payments, checking flood insurance, mapping taxes for a decade. One dawn, watching Linda tend her roses, I knew our home wasn't just walls, it was our story. Sincere advice, your home is your foundation. If you own one, throw every spare dollar at debt. Cancel that cruise, take extra hours, because each payment fortifies your ship. If you're renting, start saving even for a modest place. Don't let retirement mean a landlord's whim, evicting you from your dreams. Ask, is your home your safe harbor? If not, what would you cling to when the waves hit? Investments were the wind in my sails. In 2021, I bought 16.07 ounces of gold with $30,000 at $1,867 per ounce. By May 2025, gold reached $2,300 per ounce, worth $36,961, a $6,961 profit, up 23.19%. That covered 6 months of mortgage, $12,000, a plank keeping me above water. The S&P 500 averaged 10.2% annually, 2015 to 2024 Morningstar, but gold steadies when markets rock. S&P 500 dipped 10% in Q1 2025. Profitable investments aren't about striking it rich, they're a current flowing when work runs dry. Post-layoff, I saw I'd been blind, thinking my paycheck was enough. I started small, gold, bonds, index funds. I devoured finance books, tuned into podcasts, stumbled, like losing $2,000 on volatile stocks. One night, checking my portfolio, seeing $700 in gains, I hugged Linda, whispering, "We're climbing." That was power. Sincere advice. You don't need to be a Wall Street pro, but you must start. Open an investment account this week, put $100 into index funds or gold. Small steps, steady growth. Read one finance blog daily, talk to a savvy friend, embrace your mistakes. Investments are your money rowing while you rest. If your job ends, that current keeps you moving. Imagine, is your money pulling its weight? If not, what would you lean on when paychecks stop? Health is the breath in my lungs. I jog along Puget Sound, eat kale and lentils, sleep 7 hours, keeping my body like a tuned engine. Kaiser Family Foundation says $315,000 is needed for healthcare from 65. Good health isn't just staying alive, it's thriving without illness draining your savings or dreams. After the layoff, stress knotted my chest, sleepless nights blurred my vision. I fought back. 30-minute walks at dawn, 10-minute meditations, no more whiskey. One afternoon, raking leaves in our yard, the scent of earth grounding me, I felt alive, not just surviving. If I had diabetes or a heart condition, medical bills would have swallowed my $180,000 savings, sinking Linda and me into debt, trapped in worry. I learned to nurture myself. Annual checkups, cutting soda, treating my body like a sacred vessel. One morning, jogging through drizzle, I grinned because I was still here. Sincere advice, your body is your truest wealth. Today, walk 15 minutes, swap chips for an apple, and schedule a doctor's visit. Don't wait for a health scare. Every choice is a deposit in your retirement. If you're not strong, no plan holds water. Ask, do you have the vitality for your dreams? If not, what cost will you pay? 38 years of devotion, one layoff, and I learned 5 things to retire early. Financial stability, grown children, homeownership, profitable investments, good health. From an anchor's weight, I rebuilt my life, paid debt, invested in gold, and sail free at 62. I don't want you tethered, watching your life sink. Ask yourself, do you have these 5 things? What chains you to your job? Subscribe to Stories for Retired. Comment, which factor do you have which needs work? Like if this story hit you, share with anyone dreaming of early retirement. Join Stories for Retired and chart your course. Now, watch next, why waiting until 65 to retire is a big mistake. See you there.